Welcome to Spam Filter for Your Brain. Bite-sized ponderings on how our thoughts influence our behaviour and our lives. And because we're all connected, how our thoughts impact the world. I'm here to help people reconnect with their bodies and declutter their brains. And I don't believe that we should just magically know how our emotions and our thoughts impact our lives if no one ever teaches us. So let's learn this stuff together. I normally try and make sure that I record all of my podcasts at home in a nice quiet environment, but there were some ridiculous squawking birds around me today, and so I thought I would try recording it outside and see if any of them pick up and transport you somewhere else. I hope it's enjoyable. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the power of radical responsibility. If you ever found yourself stuck in a rut or unable to move forward towards your dreams or towards anything else in your life, or work goals, personal goals, relationship goals, or maybe things just feel a little bit like you're trudging through the mud. Maybe you feel like you're doing everything right, but you're not getting the results that you want or need, or you just can't seem to make things shift. It's super frustrating. And I wanted to share with you one of the only tricks that I have found to be a surefire way of getting me unstuck and moving me forward. And this is the concept of radical responsibility. For me, radical responsibility looks like reining myself in whenever I begin to notice that I am looking towards other people or wanting them to change. When I start outsourcing my emotions to other people, I'm left kind of hoping that their values or their priorities just happen to align with mine. And of course, that's rarely the case. You've probably heard things like this before, and if you've not, then I promise you it's not as easy as it sounds. But making it everyone else's fault can be really tempting, because it means that we can just sit back and wait for life to improve. And actually what happens when we're sitting back and we're waiting and we're kind of stuck in this place of hoping that they're going to do the thing that we were wanting them to, how often can you think of where you just waiting around for someone else to say exactly the right words or do exactly the right thing or behave in the way that you were magically hoping that they would? How many times does that actually happen? Normally, more often than not, for me personally, I think that when I am waiting around for someone else to change, what I'm actually doing is running over in my head how wrong they are, how wronged I am, how this situation really needs to be sorted out specifically by them, how terrible it is for me, and I'm just digging myself further and further into the quicksand. I think that when we are waiting for that other person to make any kind of changes to make us feel okay, it's an incredibly disempowering place to be. And I think about how often I hear the phrase, they just need to sort it out. As if other people are gonna stop their own personal mission, or they're busying themselves with blaming other people themselves, to make sure that you're all right, you're doing well, that things are aligned in your path. Like, everyone's got their own narrative going on, and everyone is mostly their own main characters, so it's quite unlikely that they're going to stop what they're doing to just try to check out what you were magically hoping that they would do or say or need from you. And all the while that we're doing this, we're neutralising our own capacity for change. So the most simple way that I have found to cut through all of my brain's nonsense when I'm stuck in these kind of positions is to ask myself the simple question of whose story am I in? It gets to the nub of the narrative quicker than anything else that I've found. Am I making this about them, what they said, what they did, what they need to do, how they should do things better? Or am I able to step back and pause and think about what my role was, or what I could have said differently, or how I could be the agent for change here, how I could be the change that I want to see? That sounds a little bit familiar. We quite often believe that it's easier to blame someone else and to kind of make them the villain in the story, and us to be the one who has been wronged, or them to be the one who has wronged us. Especially, I think we can quite often wait and I just say, I just think of how many conversations I've had of like, they just need to apologise, or I'm just waiting for them to make the first move. But this just leaves our lives in the hands of people that we've already established are not 100% in alignment with how we think that things should have panned out. So it seems like a very strange choice of person to put in control of whether we're going to allow ourselves happiness or not. So whenever I'm feeling like that it has all gone wrong, or I'm feeling hurt, or I just feel like something needs to shift, the quickest way I have found to get things moving again is to get to this question: whose story am I in? And I always find that this question brings me closer back to being the driver of my own life, the driver of my own destiny, and frankly, not waiting for other people to pull their finger out. So I hope this question is useful for you, and I hope that you've had some of the wild bird chorus in the background. Hopefully, I'll see you next week. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on the podcast here, I would love to invite you to Self-Care School. Self-Care School is a membership site where we have group coaching calls every week. We have a whole load of courses that you can dip into for whatever suits your needs. We have courses on confidence, body image, timekeeping, how to manage big emotions, overwhelm, loads and loads of stuff in there. You can kind of pick out whatever you want to work on. There is a big library of workbooks, which includes journal prompts and questions for you to be able to apply this work to your own life. And we have the most amazing community where people support each other, we learn from each other, and you get to work alongside people with quite often very different life situations to your own, and we learn so much together in community. If you would like some more of this, please do hop over to selfcareschool.co.uk.